Welcome to Eventful Endeavors, secrets to crafting the perfect celebration. If you're planning an event and looking for useful tips from industry experts, you're in the right place. So get ready to take some notes and we'll dive right in. This is Eventful Endeavors.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Eventful Endeavors, the podcast. I'm Matt from Felix and Fingers, and today we've got Ginger Slisher from Modern Love. Ginger, what's going on?
Excited to be here.
Sweet. So, with a little bit of my research, I saw that you are new to your position. Can you tell me
Yes.
about some things that you're most excited about in terms of what you'll be doing to make your own personal impact on the Indianapolis and Indiana wedding planning scene at large? We're getting right into it. No warm-ups.
Yeah. Yeah. So I worked for Erica for about 3.5 years, and then she ended up having a baby and decided she wanted to pursue some different endeavors. So I had the opportunity to purchase the company. So very exciting. Been through a lot of different changes over the past month trying to get everything situated. But this year, keeping things pretty much the same as how she was doing them. We already had several weddings booked. So continuing on with those clients and then definitely just looking to expand. So Erica was based out of Indianapolis. I did a ton of weddings in Indy. I'm still doing weddings in Indy, but I'm actually from Rochester. So about an hour and a half north of Indy. So I'm also open to kind of expanding into like that South Bend, Elkhart area, I guess, if you will, and
Yeah,
anything in between. We do Fort Wayne, Lafayette, pretty much anything that's in like a 2 to 3 hour drive.
awesome. That's exciting. That must be really exciting for you. And congratulations.
But yeah,
So, yeah, 100%. So, when I was sort of scrolling the internet, feeling out different wedding planners and places that I might want to reach out to, what immediately jumped out about your brand was the aesthetic of the website and sort of the vibe of the atmosphere you're trying to cultivate for your clients and the weddings you're trying to put on. I was immediately like drawn in by that and interested in that. And it just felt unique and different to everything else I saw in the scope of the wedding planning world. So, could you tell me a little bit about how you carved out that kind of style and vibe and what that means to you and what maybe sort of that means for your business and the type of people you work with?
yeah. So when Modern Love Events started, it was kind of in the heart of the COVID pandemic. So having a wedding was a little bit different than what people were typically used to. Moods were kind of down in the dumps. We weren't able to celebrate with as many people as what we wanted. So I think that definitely kind of put a different vibe to the business and the services that we offered. But as we've kind of moved through the COVID pandemic and we're back to like more of a traditional wedding setting, if you will, it's just we're finding with our clients that having a wedding now is very different than what it was when their parents were getting married. And so it can be very difficult to kind of navigate that. You go to your mom for everything. She's always full of great advice, but she doesn't get it. When she got married, they had mints and peanuts and that was what they did. They might not have even had a full dinner. So we're really cultivating that culture of like, we are your wedding day besties. We are here for you. We're more than just a planner or a coordinator. Like, we want to be your friend. We want to be on the same page. We want to help you make those decisions. And that just helps us make your day that much more special because then when we run into issues on the day of, we already kind of know how to anticipate those. We know what your gut reaction would be or what your suggestion would be to fix the problem without having to bother you.
Pretty sweet. Thank you for sharing that. So, now I want to kind of get into some more specifics. Can you tell me about some of your best and worst experiences with live entertainment and music for your weddings, and also sort of what it is that you look for when a couple is leaning on you to help them navigate their music?
Yeah, definitely. I think music is probably the number one, like, most important piece of the wedding. Like, you get all of these people there, you're spending all of this money to feed them, to have the beautiful decorations, but if people don't feel the vibe, they're not gonna stay. And the music is what kind of draws people in and keeps them there all night. So, I definitely put a focus on, like, if you're trying to figure out what to do with your budget, definitely put an emphasis on your DJ, your music provider. We have seen live music at several of our events, and it really is, like, it's an elevation. Like, the DJs are great, but live music just I don't know, like, having somebody there that's kind of doing it with you, it just kind of brings a different ambiance, I think. It makes people more engaged. I think it's more fun and exciting because it's different, like, you can go, anywhere and play music or go to a bar that has a DJ, but kind of having that live music is just it's a different culture.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, of course, coming from the music side, I naturally feel the same way. But it's cool to see the type of impact that live music especially, will have at these weddings, especially for me in my background of just being a musician. And then in the last couple of years, getting into the wedding space and event space and seeing it's just it's a really different animal. You have to treat it differently. But it is amazing the reaction you can get and how memorable it can help to make the experience.
Yeah, definitely.
So, how do you feel now that you're branching out to South Bend, that type of area from just indie? Do you feel like it's the same across the board? Are you feeling like the clients are sometimes different? Do you feel like you have to sort of present yourself and what you're doing in a different way, or is it just all the same across the board?
I think it's pretty similar across the board. I feel like in the indie area, even just being such a diverse community, like we have had all kinds of different couples. And so I think the clientele that we're running into are definitely similar. The most like different or exciting thing, I guess, is to see the different venues because every venue is different. And obviously, we have ones in Indy that we've worked at several times. And so it's kind of fun to branch out and get to see the different spaces. And with different spaces, you can have different event flows and just all kinds of things that make the experience unique.
Do you feel, just in your own personal preference, because Indianapolis and Indiana at large has so many different avenues you could take for how you want to do your wedding? Do you have one you specifically feel like is always best, like a barn wedding, a downtown building? Like, you could go so many routes in the greater Indianapolis area with how you want to do a wedding. So, do you have sort of one that's your go to that you feel like you just crush it the best at, or are you down just for all of them?
Um, Down for all of them. I think it really depends on the couple and even more so like your guests. Like the day is about you as the bride and groom, but you also wanna make sure that your guests are having an enjoyable experience and that they're gonna wanna stay all night long, and so with that, like, if you have a lot of guests that are traveling from out of town, then having one at a hotel so that way people can just stay there and they don't have to worry about getting a ride home is super nice. I've seen the barn weddings. The Elkhart area has, like, a ton of barns, like, that's, like, all that's up there, so that is definitely beautiful for fall weddings. If they're not AC, not great for summer weddings. You don't want your guests to be out there sweating. But then there's a lot of like the more industrial and like modern and classic type venues that are becoming a lot more popular. And there's just, yeah, there's so many things you can do. You can have an outdoor ceremony, indoor ceremony, just all kinds of things. So it's really up to what what vision I think the bride and groom have, and then what kind of venue accommodates their guests the best.
Cool. That's awesome. I think in what you've described as the way things are sort of post COVID in the wedding world, you have to be flexible to do whatever the couple and the situation calls for. So, like you said, wedding day bestie. I think that's a cool lane you guys have chosen, and it's just really exciting. From, I don't know, 5, 10 years ago, did you see yourself here now?
I mean, it was always something that I wanted to do. Did I ever think that I would be here? Not necessarily. I don't know, like, growing up, every girl, dreams about their wedding, and yeah, I always thought it would be cool, like, to work in a bridal store or something like that, and then when I went to college, I had seen, like, one of my friends had been doing the social media for Modern Love, and she had shared something on her story, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, do you work for somebody that does that?" And so she kinda connected me, and I got to do my first wedding, and I just fell in love with it. Like, I'm a very type A person, so some people are like, "Why would you want to do that? Like, isn't that so stressful to, like, be in charge of somebody's perfect day that they're probably only gonna have one time in their life?" And
Right.
it is stressful, but it's also, like, it's so cool. Like, there's just nothing like it. It's the best day of people's lives for the most part, and so being able to be part of that and to help them bring their vision to life is just such a unique opportunity.
That's a great perspective. Do you have any specific memories of times where there were hiccups or curveballs that caused potential problems, but you thought on your feet and saved the day?
Yeah, definitely with outdoor ceremonies, they can be very tricky, but we have a lot of brides that are like very dead set, like I'm getting married outside. So I know last year we had one, and it just like absolutely like the radar looked terrible. We were like, it's gonna rain, it's gonna be terrible. Like, what do you want to do? And she was like, "No, like, I wanna get married outside," and we were like, "Okay, let's pivot." So we had the cocktail hour before the ceremony, and that, like, hour of cocktail time was just long enough to kind of let the rain pass, the lightning stopped, we were able to run out, get the ceremony done in, like, 30 minutes, and then get everybody back inside before it cut loose. So there's just all kinds of things, whether the table linens came in and they're squares instead of circles and we gotta improvise or the decorations broke on the way there. There's just all kinds of things, but we try to make it as seamless as possible and the least amount of stress as possible.
So, what type of impact would you say your specific role and, modern love at large has made or is making on the Indianapolis and Indiana market? What would you say is your specific thumbprint on that sort of scene of wedding events and planners?
I would just say like making our bride and grooms feel the best that they can like going into their wedding day. You just see like so many couples that are like stressed out going into their wedding day or it's like, oh, like I need to decorate the venue before I get my hair and makeup done or they have family that are, like, setting out the cupcakes and things like that, and so, like, we're able to just, like, kind of do those things behind the scenes so that everybody is able to enjoy the day, and we're also, like, a LGBTQ friendly vendor, and so I think that's been a really big thing for us too, because when you're in that community, it can be very difficult to kind of navigate, especially if you're not planning on having a traditional wedding. It can be difficult to find vendors that are able to kind of adjust to that because they're used to doing the bouquet toss and the garter toss and things in a specific way in a specific order, but we are open to clients, all clients, and that's helped us to have a lot more unique experiences as wedding planners. I think I know we haven't seen it all, but it feels like we've seen it all. Like everyone is different. There's always a curveball. There's always a different way of doing things. And so that's so cool for us, like to be so open minded and to be able to just roll with whatever's thrown at us and figure out how to incorporate it into the day to make everything still run as smoothly as possible.
Yeah, that's cool. And I could kind of just pick up on that from, us talking and what I saw on your website. And I think you guys do a really good job of, making that clear just off the jump with your sort of branding and everything. So getting back to music a little bit, you had mentioned that, it's very important and it can really uplift the event. So how often are couples coming to you saying, what should we do for music?
Honestly, I don't think that we get that question a lot just because I think everybody is starting to realize that music is super important. And so, like, the venue is the number one thing. You have to have the venue, you have to have the date. And then I feel like the second service provider they're going to is finding their music. And then after they get those two things secured, then I feel like they come and find a planner to help them figure out the rest of the stuff.
So most people who are getting in contact with you, most couples, they've already got their music figured out.
Yeah, I would say like 75% of them already have their music figured out.
Wow. And you're seeing mostly DJs,
Yeah.
but some live bands.
Yep, we've had a couple live bands down in Indy, and then we also get a lot of like small orchestras. We've had
Mm.
that a lot for like cocktail hour or for music processing down the aisle. We've gotten that quite a bit, like smaller bands.
And they've all got that figured out before they come to you, generally speaking.
Yeah. I feel like they've gotten I feel like um I think a lot of the couples that do the live music or have like an orchestra are doing it because they saw it done somewhere else and they
Yeah.
really loved it. And so they're getting that
Cool.
referral and they're going straight to them.
Yeah. Wow. That's an interesting perspective. Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll be getting a lot more dueling pianos things going for these people, and they'll see it and they'll see it. And it's definitely a great wedding celebration type of thing to have. So it's exciting to be bringing that to Indianapolis for sure.
Yeah.
So we've talked pretty much at length. Is there anything you want our people to hear, people to know? Words of wisdom from Ginger and all your experience?
Words of wisdom would be I would say not a plug for us, but I do think a wedding coordinator is very important. I think a DJ is very important. I think a wedding coordinator is very important. Before I started this job, if you would have asked me if I was going to have a wedding coordinator for my wedding, I would have said, absolutely not. That's such a waste of money. Like, I can plan it myself. Why do I need somebody else? But since like working in the industry now and like being at so many weddings, a coordinator is so important. I think not only just like for the help and support that you get like leading up to the day, but to have that reassurance like that on your wedding day that you're not going to have to do anything. A lot of times we see couples that want to save money. And so like aunt and uncle will light all the candles and mom and dad are going to clean up at the end of the night. And that's great. And if you're on a budget, that's an awesome opportunity, but it just makes it so much more fun when like your guests are able to be guests and nobody has responsibilities that they have to be worried about at the end of the night. And you can just truly enjoy the day the way that it was intended to.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a hopefully once in a lifetime experience. You want to enjoy it, right?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks so much for hopping on this call with me, Ginger. It was awesome to talk to you and hope to be seeing you real soon.
Awesome. Looking forward to working with you.
Awesome. Thanks for taking the time. Have a great day.
You too. See ya.
Bye bye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Eventful Endeavors, Secrets to Crafting the Perfect Celebration. We hope to have left you with some actionable ideas for your own event. If you like the show, please subscribe and definitely leave us a review. We read every comment. So until next time, happy planning and see you soon on Eventful Endeavors.